This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 107, Guided Missile Precision, Telemarketing Refined. Are you a real estate agent with an entrepreneurial spirit who wants to turn your job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or any plan to help you get there? Well then, hey, you're in the right spot. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you get started in an immediately a better direction by being strategic, top producer, newbie to the business, either way, freeagentgift.com. And if you do nothing more over there, please download the infographic that shows you in one page how this business really works and the three perspectives that you'll need to be successful. All right. In this episode, I want to cover this guided missile precision, telemarketing refined. What am I talking about? Well, if you know me at all, in a deeper way, you know that I have another podcast called The Bonus Section, which is very heavily influenced by all things the head stuff. And one of the greatest influences on me was Maxwell Maltz in his book, The New Psycho-Cybernetics, where he talks a lot about guided missile technology being the way that we can program our brain to work. Well, if you think about today's technology with guided missiles, I mean, it's pretty straightforwardly amazing what you can do to bring a missile somewhere. I know it's a little bit of a gruesome subject when you think about a guided missile bomb. It's intended to hurt people. There's no doubt about it. But my point really is the precision of this machine, this algorithmic approach to things. As time's gone on, whether it be the stock market with all the quantitative analysis or weaponry with its software programming, precision is why these things evolve. People want to be more precise in trying to figure things out. Think about our business here with all this online algorithmic approach to value. People are trying to, number one, just do it algorithmically and mathematically versus qualitatively with the realtor who's making those qualitative judgments, sort of like on Wall Street, come to think of it, the battle between the value guys and gals and the quants, right? Meaning the quantitative types, the mathematical types. I'm a big value guy. I like math and I like the precision of it, but I think it's a secondary play. And I still think there's a lot to do with intuition and that approach to this. But I want to talk about how you blend them in real estate. And in particular, I have a really good venue when I talk about telemarketing because it's really clear, because you can get very concise in a script. And it's interesting, during training this week on the sales training call, and remember at the TRC, you can go look at the sales training calls anytime for free on YouTube specifically. I'd rather drive you over there. Go to YouTube and look for the Realty Classroom. You can see where I'm going through this with people and hear what I'm saying to them with precision. And I can be a pain in the neck when I'm coaching and I'm up against paradigms. And so let me go through the bullet points here. Number one, if you ever hear me really coach live versus just a podcast, I sound like a jerk. I do. I'll admit it. I mean, I sound like a jerk, but you don't know me if that's what you think I actually am. I actually really care about this body of work, and I really care about the people who entrust me with their lives, aka their business lives. And I go deep because you can't stop. When you know how something works and you have that obligation to get at people, you have to go plowing through a lot of negative paradigms that are driven by fear and these other mongers, these mind gremlins that smash people. So let's get back to this guided missile precision. Maxwell Maltz in his body of work says, look, the clearer you can get on the target, the more precise you can be. Now, see, a guided missile doesn't think. It doesn't get all emotional. It doesn't throw tantrums, and it doesn't mind constructive criticism. See, that's my first point here. Nobody really loves constructive criticism. So when you're coaching a human, it's tough. But think about the benefit of being a guided missile. You just say, look, I want you to land there. That's where I want you to go. And I am talking precisely right there on that spot exactly. So the circumference of the missile, I want it to land in this spot. Unbelievable, amazing, right? So whew, off goes this missile. How does it get there? Is it a straight line of precision? Of course not. Why not? There are all these external factors that just are beating upon this missile. The wind, the rain, the snow, right? Whatever. Gravity, how about that? These things, forces, are beating upon it. And that's us. We're getting beaten upon by all of these things that are happening. And as of the recording of this, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's beating on the business model. It's beating on our ability to do our job. So what do? Do we course correct as simply as a guided missile? Well, some people do, because some people know this amazing little tool that they can use is to act as if, to try to take the emotion out of it. And it's really difficult because you have this animal brain, right? You have this animal brain that says, oh, too many calories. Let's just tuck it down. We have enough savings. Let's get through this pandemic. Let's not look for opportunities. What are you, crazy? Just calm down, quiet down, hide. Well, that's not right, because the goal, the target to grow this business that serves you is still there. So why are you slowing down? Why are you going off course? See? Pretty simple when you think about it. So the constructive criticism becomes less painful when you see it this way. Now, again, who am I, right? Who am I? And it's really hard to coach like this, because sometimes you have to come back and just say, okay, everybody, I'm not some maniacal beast that is off on an ego trip trying to put people down. That's not what this is at all. It's the opposite. It's digging in so deep to say, wait, do you see? There's that paradigm voice. There's that animal shutdown that's saying too much, and I want to fight it for you. I know it sounds bizarre because you're talking to this one person, but you can hear the alternating voices. One that wants to keep going like the guided missile for the goal, and the other one that's the animal saying, no, let's lie down in the cool breeze over here and just rest until all this passes. That's a conflict, folks. That's a big one. And it doesn't have to be just real estate. It's anything, right? So you have to be open to constructive criticism to be able to be caught in those moments to say, am I acting as a guided missile moving this there? And I get it. I know you're human. I'm not asking you not to be human. I'm just asking you to become aware. I want to be aware. I don't like that oblivion. I don't want to live in oblivion in my business and get blindsided by the next catastrophe or storm that comes our way. I want to be ready. I want to find the opportunity in it. One of the greatest investors of our day, Warren Buffett, looks for opportunity in these types of moments. That's top production. Those are people that course correct. I'm not saying they don't feel the pain of the moment and they don't empathize. A lot of those people like Warren will write big checks to charities, etc. But he's open to the constructive criticism of the marketplace. What is happening? We got out of control. We need construction, reconstruction. Let's get back on the path and let's accept what we did wrong and move forward. And that starts with the next point. You see, me, you, none of us, as we work on this body of work in a coaching training scenario, we're not the hero of this story. And this is the first most difficult piece of constructive criticism I had to swallow from this perspective, meaning what? If you in any business are in a conversation with somebody that you're trying to serve, you want them to do business with you. You want them to buy or sell a property with you. Or if you're a recruiter, you want that agent to join you. So when you get into all of that, we just get so selfish and we don't even realize it. It's this defensive voice that shows us the selfishness. It's the, well, I did this, my company did that. I. And it just comes out. Now, your heart is not selfish. I know that for a lot of you. I've coached so many people. I know they don't even realize what it sounds like. I didn't. I was in such a hurry to help people that I couldn't wait to sell them on why I was the right person to help them, that I could make you sound like me, right? I mean, I was trying to be about you, but it sounded like me. And I didn't know that. So that's the first piece of constructive criticism that I had to swallow. Was like, wait a minute. This is really about that story brand type of formula. There's a guy out there by the name of Don Miller who has done a good job in marketing in general, just talking about bringing in that story branding or that story formula to remind us that the hero, in our case in real estate, is the potential buyer, the potential seller, the potential recruited agent. They're the hero. And more importantly, they're the boss. And let me explain that. That doesn't mean let the tail wag the dog and let all these people take you wherever they will. You need a plan and you need to keep them in there, but you need to do it as a guide. And a guide is a good leader too. Remember that? When the guide goes out front, they're leading. So there's not a conflict between hero and leader. If the hero wants to get somewhere and they're smart enough to hire a good guide like you, then you must lead in that moment too. That's what I do here. I am not afraid to lead you as your guide. I will grab you by the lapels and say, stop walking towards the edge. You are going to get blown off the side. A lot of people don't listen to me, but I do my best. And who am I? The guy that's gone up and down the trail many times and still learning every moment, making these tiny refinements so that we can get better and better and better, because you're like that guided missile. No matter how precise my mechanism becomes and the distinctions I make, I need to make course corrections myself, but they're not as big as yours. If you haven't done this kind of body of work like I have, if you haven't had thousands of hours. So now all of a sudden, I'm telling you, in my own experience as broker, agent, doer of the thing, and coach, I hear the boss now. Much better. In other words, when I'm coaching training on that Realty Classroom, and again, reminder, go to YouTube and you can check out me doing this live. I listen to recorded calls more so we can eavesdrop on the boss, the consumer. How are they reacting to what we are saying in this telemarketing moment, which is a pivotal moment in any type of call? Past client follow-up, if the past client refers you what you say, if it's a brand new expired FSBO, probate, etc., if it's an internet lead, that's the boss with all different contexts that we have to consider when we get into it. So I want you to understand they're not just the hero that you're trying to get to this happy outcome of having successfully sold, bought, or joined your brokerage, right? You have to remember that they're also wanting to experience life the way they want to experience. So we have this really difficult job of giving them what they need, but allowing them to experience it the way they want to. Let that sink in deeply. So let me get to the next point here. The idea is what you say gets you what you deserve. So many people don't get this kind of guidance from somebody like me that they go and they try something. I've tried internet leads. I've tried expireds, probates, FSBOs. I've tried whatever, and it didn't work for me. And you know why it didn't work for you? Is because one of two things. One, it was just completely erroneous as far as the way that you did it. Or number two, you really didn't get the proper guidance and give it a chance to listen to the boss. You see, even without guidance, if you went on a telemarketing call and you called one of these types of contacts or leads, and you just simply listened to how they reacted to what you said, then you'd understand fully it either worked or it didn't. And if it didn't, like the guided missile, you make a slight adjustment on the next one and you try something a little bit differently until finally you have a system. Like, I hope you really don't think that somewhere out there was a magical system all by itself that somebody just plucked out of the earth and there it was. No, it was developed just like this. By doing, listening, refining, changing, that's how systems get developed. We use our brain to think. And the coolest thing about the service business is you simply start off by saying, if I were that person who expired, who had somebody pass away, who was trying to do it themselves, who had just opted in on my website, who had just asked for a home evaluation, a list of homes that are sold around me, there's a whole bunch of different contexts. How would I want to be served in that initial moment? That's it. It's all you have to ask somebody. So if you've been taught or you're learned to go right at them, trying to figure out what's in it for you, and they hang up on you, and this feels exhausting, don't you think you got what you deserved? Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that the logic of the moment that, of course, they hung up on you, right? I mean, somebody's just died. We talked about this the other day in training with probate leads. Somebody has passed away, and you are typically calling the administrator of an estate. And the first thing that you ask is, do you have real estate to sell? And then you wonder why they actually call you, because this is real. You're an ambulance chaser. Or worse, vulgarity spews out of their mouth and you just hear click. And then you have the audacity to say to yourself, well, it didn't work for me. I don't do those. And it's too hard. All those things. Whoa, wait a minute. This is still somebody that needed your help to start with, potentially. Okay? Did you ever stop to think, all right, I have this hero that has this context, and they're the boss, and I'm going to get what I deserve. So what could I say in that telemarketing moment that would truly serve them? And by doing that, I could sound completely differently from everybody else who was just calling and trying to take. Again, no rocket science in the logic of this approach. It's just the way that you think through it differently. Look, I didn't do this for a long time, until I got serious about these general concepts. I mean, you can say one thing, like, I want to be treated the way, I would treat somebody, right? You got these golden rule things running through your head. Did I just get that right? By the way, I'm so deep in thought here. The golden rule, you get it. I want to, treat you the way I want to be treated. So am I really doing that in a business context? And the answer is a lot of the time, and most of the time, no. So change that, because you're going to get what you deserve. So if you can then start to say, let's get into some of the specifics. And again, I'll tell you, go over the YouTube channel, look for the Realty Classroom, and just listen to some of the sales training calls where I break this stuff down. But let me just go through this. Danny, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw that your house expired, right? You can start off like that. And then we found out that that wasn't quite right. Expired is language for us. So we went back. Let me use a different name. Sally, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online and I noticed it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that? What? Like, who thought that something that calm, that nice could work? But yet, week after week after week in my own business, it works. And I mean, it works genuinely. I'm not trying to get one over on somebody. This isn't the old bait and switch, right? The shell game. I legitimately have my information that I have in a package ready to go. We'll throw in a little custom stuff around their property and off it will go, whether or not they will do business with me. It is a genuine serving of the hero. And guess what? When you please the boss like that by actually being 100% about them, they at least give you a little bit more of a breath, even on that first call. Hey, great, wonderful. Yes, they say, right? May I confirm the address? Super. I'll call you next week to make sure that you got it. It's some really good stuff. Hey, by the way, while I have you, why are we trying to sell it? It does look like a beautiful house. Genuine, interested. You see where this is going, folks? This is guided missile stuff. Am I trying to get to the target by serving the hero boss, by giving them what they want, which allows me a little bit more relationship so I can figure out, how do I serve them next? Are they still serious about selling? Is there anything else I should include? How can I serve you? It is now 100% that way and genuine. I'm still getting what I need to know, whether this is a viable business opportunity or not, but it's just the way that we're doing this. The missile is not blowing so far off course. I don't have to use all this weird technique and tactic to get me back on. It's just a simple, genuine dialogue. Well, you got to beat on the script and you got to add this. No, you don't. You don't. Here's my last point. You need to simplify and then stay the course. You see, it's Einstein that says the simplest solution, but not any simpler, is the best. So, Sounds like a tongue twister, right? You need to say enough to be clear about who you are, why you're calling, what's in it for them, and how you're going to get it to them. That's it. That's a simple formulaic way to deal with anyone, anywhere, anytime, telemarketing or otherwise. I just happen to be using telemarketing because it's such a pivotal moment where they can't see you, they don't know you, they don't even know why you're interrupting. So precision and just small movements like that guided missile are everything. And the small movements come from simplification. Look, if I could get there in a straight line, I'm going to try. So let me draw the formula that helps me get to the straight line. And over, if the boss is happy, I'm on the right path. Then I can make little distinctions. And you say, yeah, but every call's not different. Or not the same. I know that. And that's the point, is that by being a good leader about who they are, what they have, what I have for them, and how I'm going to get it, that's leadership. That is the plan that I'm bringing to the phone call and subsequently will deliver and subsequently will personalize in the home or when we're looking at properties to the buy side. You see, that's the formula. Now, of course, on top of that, each of them is experiencing it a different way. What if the person on the phone says, well, what's in it? Then I'm going to explain it. I just go a little bit deeper when I have to. When I don't, I shut up, I deliver, I serve, I keep it simple. Now, one last little bonus section there is, in my coaching program, I can't believe how many of us suffer another Maxwell Maltz term, the snapback effect. How quickly we snap back to, heard this on the call the other day, well, I'm not really a script guy. Heard that one, right? Heard that multiple times. I said that. That's that sort of moxie. That's me. And it's not intentional. I get it, folks. I have some really genuinely sweet people that I have the benefit of coaching. They don't mean to be selfish at all. But it's just that weird thing that makes, when they're uncomfortable, they flush out all this systematic guided missile precision. That's the point here. Don't do that. Stay the course. Keep it simple. And if you're getting a negative result on the phone, or in the house, or wherever, it's because you're not serving in a simplified way that benefits the consumer. All right? So let me go back through this guided missile precision, telemarketing refined as an example. Start off with nobody really loves constructive criticism. That's you. That's me. We don't really want to be told how to course correct. But if you can remember the guided missile does it automatically, why don't we try to behave like that? It'll make swallowing constructive criticism easier. And you start off by doing this, remembering that the consumer that you're helping is the hero and your boss. All that matters is not what you and I train on. It's how we take it to them, and then we hear from them, and then we refine. And remember, if we do the wrong thing, we get the wrong thing. You get what you deserve. So you have to work on this stuff. And ultimately, you improve it by simplifying and sticking to it. Stop making it up. If it's working, keep going looking for tiny distinctions, not some big new way to do things. All right. I just want to summarize the key point by saying the consumer's short attention span demands that you be precise and all about them. Remember that. And also remember that you can take immediate action to get started in the right direction with our free simple business plan. That's sitting there waiting for you at freeagentgift.com. I should be seeing more of you in there because at least you download that infographic, put it up on the wall, and remember there are three perspectives: visionary, manager, key one, right? And the technician. Also, don't forget to subscribe to, easily, he said, right? Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or maybe wherever you listen so that you don't miss out on any insights each time we upload. Now, remember, I told you this before, we broadcast our live sales training calls every Friday. We put them up on YouTube and Facebook, 1 o'clock EDT, so go find us, especially at YouTube. I'm going to be giving a lot more to my YouTube subscribers, moving in that direction to give a lot of benefit and bonus over there. So look for the Realty Classroom on YouTube and turn on those notifications, and you'll be getting all the reminders, and including when I go live on the side for a little free coaching, okay? We also appreciate if you would share our content with other people that are out there looking for this help. Sharing is caring. Please, this is important to share this stuff, all right? Also, thanks for listening. Remember, you know what I always say as I sign off here? Nobody's coming for you, so go get to work on your own business, and I'll see you in the next episode.